Hi, photography class. I made this guide for our final exam and I want to walk you through it so you can get ready for just preparing your response. So here we are, it's the end of the year, and I want to see that you can discuss photography and reflect back on things that you've learned. Now, to prepare, you're going to create a Google Doc. And you are going to look through your photos from this year in Google Classroom. And you're going to find one that you're proud of, one that you feel really great about. And then just to keep this in mind, you don't have to make this your greatest photo. It just needs to be something that you can talk about. Maybe you learned a lot about photography during this project. Choose something that you have a lot to say about. You're literally going to describe what you see in the first paragraph. That's all you're going to do. Just describe what is in the picture. And then toward the end, I want you to explain what seems to be most important. What is the closest to the viewer? What is the largest part of the picture? Think along those lines. What is emphasized in this photograph that you've chosen? Now, when you're doing these written responses for my work, I want you to try out this tool. You may or may not know about it. So on this next slide, let's just pretend that this is your work and you've got your picture loaded up. Now I'm going to use tools, voice type speaker notes. It's going to show up in this box for me, but for you, it'll do the same thing in Google Docs. Now, I have to move this over so you can actually see it. It's too much going. All right, so this is now going to start writing whatever I say. Now, if you put in the punctuation as you type, it will be much more convenient in the end. See, I just added that period. It's not always so accurate. Now I'm going to delete this. In this photograph, you see an empty lounge area. On the left, there is a yellowish wall. Straight ahead, there is a very tall red wall with a large window. The window has 4 parts looking out over the city. I could have said something about the glass panels, but throughout the lounge area, there are empty chairs. The carpet is orange and yellow. There is a hallway to the right with yellow lighting and doorways. Just in front of the carpeted area, there is a little boy in a coat looking in that direction of the hallway. Oh, it's turned off. Just in front of the camera, there is a little boy in a winter coat looking toward the hallway. His head is almost framed by the opening of the hallway, and the little boy's head is framed by the opening of the hallway, and he is positioned in the area close to the rule of thirds, the right third of the picture. Actually, I would probably save that part for the next paragraph. So I just want to show you how that was in this photograph. Now I would fix some of these things to make the writing better in this photograph. That does not need to be capitalized, just fix things up. You see an empty lounge area. On the left, there is a yellowish wall. Straight ahead, there's a very tall red wall with a very large window. The window has 4 window sections looking out over the city. So anyway, you get the idea. Now, you would do that for each section and then make sure that your writing, you clean up your writing and make sure that it says what you want it to say. Now, in this section, I'm going to actually copy this and bring this down here. For process and techniques, that's where I would want you to discuss framing, leading lines, rule of thirds, how the picture is composed. So I'm going to actually delete this and go back to my voice typing. I'm just going to tell you what I notice about this picture right off the bat, okay? Let's make it larger. The little boy in the picture is positioned on the right third of the image. I can't talk. Okay, so the little boy in the picture is positioned on the right. The boy's positioning means this picture is following the rule of thirds. There is some framing by the opening of the lounge. If you look at the yellowish wall that goes over the top of the picture and then down toward the little boy. All of these right angles create a frame that leads toward the little boy. The lines on the checkered floor also move toward the boy. So if you look, the lines creating this room actually all sort of lead toward the boy. And your eye is drawn to the window first, and then up and around the picture and down toward that hallway opening right where the boy is standing. Now, that would be plenty. I mentioned the rule of thirds and framing. Now, there are some other concepts I could talk about, but this would be enough as far as I'm concerned. Delete that. All right, moving right along. Now, self-evaluation. This is where I would leave it up to you to explain whether or not the picture is really what you'd want it to be, and to discuss what you think you did well and how you would improve that photo. So, as far as me, without doing the voice typing for this picture, I think that I would want this photograph to be, I'd probably edit it. I'd probably do some editing to increase a little bit of the contrast and make the colors brighter, and some of the, I would want it to pop a little more. It's a little bit dull, just to sharpen it a bit. And I kind of wish that the boy in the picture were not blurred. I I like that. I like that the focal point is the window looking out on the city, and that part is clear. And actually, I don't mind. I like the framing. I think the framing is, it helps bring your attention around, like your eye travels through the picture over and to the boy, which that part I think was effective. And all of the different lines going in different directions, but still sort of leading to him, is, it creates a nice effect. That's it. Now, whatever your picture, it could be that there's different factors involved in whatever picture you choose. And that's fine. Just do the best you can and try to remember things that came from our lessons. And be honest, because the closer your evaluation is to mine, the higher I'm going to consider your score, because you're being thoughtful and honest. Now, and finally, I want you to think about what the difference is between seeing a situation through the eye of a camera lens, because a photographer went and took pictures, versus reading about it, just reading a Twitter post or reading a news article or whatever you might see. Why is it different? Why is it different? Think back to the story that we read about. Do you remember the cotton factory and the little girl? So they were trying to raise awareness of child labor laws, and one of the first things that they did when they officially started trying to fight child labor laws was hire a photographer to get in there and take pictures. So when people became aware of the conditions that these children were working in, they actually started to see an effort to change those conditions. And if you think back to our documentaries that we watch, like Tales of Light, which is on Netflix, think about what they were showing in those documentaries. And we also looked at immigration at the border and that kind of thing. Now, if you think about photography as, and photojournalism as communication, how is it different to see those pictures of the people hiding at the border, or a child working in a factory, or all of the images that we've been kind of bombarded with about mask wearing and buying toilet paper? And think about why that impacts us so much more. Or does it? Maybe you'd rather read, but I think that it does something when we see something. So you think about what that does versus only reading text or hearing someone speak about a topic. Because we could listen to a speaker, but without seeing it, there's something for us that is very different. I already explained, but I'll go over it one more time just to make sure that you know how to do this. So if you go into Docs, example, All right, so if we go to my recent documents, you'll get my sample final essay. So all you do, you'd go into Tools and go down to Voice Typing. All right, so here we are in Voice Typing, yes? I gotta move this little guy. Okay, so if you click on Tools and go down in the menu, or if you hit Control-Shift-S, there you go. Now we have voice typing, but I cannot move my picture. So once you turn it on, you will say whatever you want about the image that you're writing about, and then press the period or a comma when you need punctuation. Now, we can keep going if you keep speaking. Otherwise, you need to turn on the recorder again. This is actually nice because all you'd have to do is add capital letters. It doesn't turn it off when you are using Drive. Fantastic. So I wish you all the best of luck on your exams. Please email me if you need my help, and let me know if you need to figure anything here out.